Here. Welcome to Off the Clock, episode 20. I am very excited to have a very special guest joining us this evening. He is from Grand Rapids, very good friend of mine, and he has probably one of the sweetest jumpers that I've ever seen. And he and I have played basketball in a Gus Macker tournament. Maybe we can talk about that. And I'm very excited to welcome. So let's give a warm welcome to Adam the G.O.A.T Degi, everybody. Adam, hey, what's up, fam?
It's just another Wednesday, you know. It feels different.
It does. It feels very different. Thanks so much for coming, man.
What was that?
Thanks for coming on and doing the old Facebook Live with me. I appreciate that.
Of course, man. I love live. I love Facebook. This is as live as it gets. I don't know if the viewers will be able to hear it, but I just cracked a beer.
Celebratory. Yeah. What are you drinking?
This is actually Bean Flicker, it's called.
Oh, yep. From Shorts, right? Shorts Brewing.
You got to be old enough to enjoy the taste of coffee. But still young enough to be able to handle being an alcoholic.
I like to be wide awake when I'm drunk, you know?
I never, believe it or not, I never drink during the week.
Really?
Because it's just, especially when I've got to work, it's just too rough, man.
Yeah.
My body's been through a lot.
Right.
Because first, I'm just getting all the shit that starts with C. First I got cancer, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then I got the fucking COVID.
You did?
I had the vid.
You did?
Yes.
Shit,
my wife and I got the Roan boy.
Well, you don't have to do everything together when you're married. You can do your own thing.
Yeah, I know. What's hers is mine. What's hers?
Wow. So tell me about that.
Well, she would. I didn't announce it to the world. I mean, everybody's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Who cares? But we were very safe. I mean, we never left the house. It doesn't matter now because we both got the
wild
natural antibody, and I can't get sick for 90 days technically ish, and we can't give it to anybody. But we're still just at home and don't see anybody. But what happened was we got it from a relative, and they barely saw anybody. They were safe enough. But that's all it takes, man, is one interaction, one encounter. And we were pretty sick for a couple of days.
Yeah. What were your symptoms?
Oh, man, my dick just wouldn't stop growing. It's like I had to go buy new pants. And I asked the doctor, I was like, "Is it going to stay this way?" Yeah, I guess it is. So, I finally know what it feels like to be Rob Jenkins.
Oh, that's great.
Still not smart though, but I'll take the dumb with a big dick.
Could you?
But no, it was like for a few days we had like fever type stuff,
Yeah.
Aches and pains and like chills and headaches. I never really got a fever. She did.
Okay.
And
what about your taste? I heard that was
so congestion, heavy chest, and then that really only lasted a few days. That was the worst of actually being sick. But then on New Year's Eve, I'm making all my famous Degi dips and shit.
Yeah.
Really excited, and I go to taste it. Can't fucking taste. No taste.
Oh, no.
No smell. That was the worst part of the whole ordeal.
Jesus.
And it was the worst.
Wow.
So then I went to get a CAT scan.
Yeah.
Because I got to do the scans like every 3 months on the chest and the organs and whatnot to see. They want to make sure AIDS isn't in there. And and I had like slight or acute pneumonia apparently, but I wouldn't have even known it if I didn't go get the scan. So it's obviously not that bad. And then I had the antibiotics, like the Z-Pack or whatever.
Okay.
And God, that was worse than COVID, I think.
Wow.
Like, not a lot of people have real bad symptoms. My wife was like nauseous immediately. She stopped taking them. And I was just getting like pounding headaches, and you get like insomnia. It fucking keeps you awake.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, it's been about, a month process with the antibiotics and whatnot. But in reality, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
It's certainly disappointing, though, to still see and hear people pretend like it's not a thing and downplay it and make it political. And there's fucking, people dying. And the saddest part about this whole thing, dude, is these people, you can't even see your loved ones that are in the hospital.
Yeah, I know.
It's so fucking sad, man. Like I don't know if you saw, somebody had shared, and then it went viral, like a room in a hospital, just like 50 like stands with iPads on them, where essentially for these patients to talk to their families on their deathbeds. Basically, it's just fucking so bad, man. It's so sad. And so yeah, you're fortunate if you're young and healthy and your body can fight it, but it's certainly not the flu.
Yeah.
And it's definitely real. So
well, like I'm glad you guys
were safe. We were safe and rarely left the house unless we had to. We saw like a couple of friends that we knew didn't do much either, but that didn't even turn out to be the problem. So it's the real deal, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're safe.
Now all I got to show for it is this big dumb dick.
Oh, that's good. Hey, my friend John's saying hi. He's watching on Periscope. What's up, John? So yeah, I mean that's what I can say from experience. We haven't had it, but trying to help people that are in the hospital, like get documents done, like wills and stuff.
Right.
It's damn near impossible to do any of that because
dude, I can't imagine. And then what do you even do for like you're not going to have a gathering for a funeral probably right now.
Yeah. Well, my mom's a minister, and a lot of people have been postponing them. Some have done like ones at like a gravesite, like outside, but now during the winter, a lot of them have just been we're just going to wait till we can do it outside.
That's the type of shit when you think about these people who are bitching because their favorite hole in the wall bar might go under.
Oh, I know.
Just go fuck yourself, man.
I know.
And these are also the same people. This is before I put my own ban on social media, especially Facebook anymore. I wanted so badly to be like, none of these people gave a shit when the fucking governor knew the water supply in Flint was being poisoned and helped cover it up. And if the only restaurants that were going under potentially and businesses that were going under potentially were in Flint, nobody would bat an eye. Nobody would give a fuck.
Yeah.
But suddenly now everybody gives a shit about other people. No, you don't.
Yeah, I know. It's I found it interesting, at the beginning, is people talking about rights and stuff, and like, oh, what your rights? Your rights are gonna mean dick if everyone's dead. I mean, it doesn't matter.
And people are. I saw, and obviously you can't. Everything from memes to grain of salt, especially political ones. This wasn't even trying to push things that were supposed to be facts. It was just about how like these people paid for a flight to go to the Capitol to bring all this fucking expensive like artillery and shit, and they're oppressed and they're fighting for their rights. Like I think you're okay.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Fucking morons.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting, there's a lot of it's just self-involvement. There's a lot of we just care about only ourselves.
Right.
And yeah.
And I mean, I understand the worry and the concern that businesses will go under and people will struggle to pay rent and put food on the table and all that stuff. But it seems to be the people that are doing the most complaining aren't in that situation.
Yeah.
And there definitely should be more help from the government, which hopefully happens soon for people, you know, get some more stymies out there, some thicker ones.
You're
you
right.
know, people like I like a thick stymie this time of year, you know. Give me a big thick one.
Yeah. Right.
So I understand the concern on both sides, but I mean,
I just never
one issue certainly outweighs the other, at least for now. I mean, if we had a total collapse of the economy, who knows? But
yeah, and to go to that, I mean, I never really understood the idea that like this was some sort of government created thing. Like, do we want, like, who wants businesses to close? No one wants that.
And as far as our governor here in Michigan, like I'm even to the point, and I'm pretty, you know, it shouldn't even be political, but I'm definitely far left on this, you know, this issue. But having said that, I'm even to the point now where I'm like, all right, let's open some more stuff up, because it's been so long, and I want to get back on stage as a comic, and I want to go places with my friends, and I want to go back to normal too.
I know.
But at the same time, I mean, we probably can't yet until more people take this vaccine.
Yep.
And like, but what I was trying to get to is, like, she's literally had multiple people plot to fucking kidnap and murder her.
I know.
You think she really would still be doing these things if she didn't really think it was the right thing to do? I mean, like, is there a slight, there's probably some like power trip there. Maybe there is. But I mean, only to a certain extent. I mean, my God, once people are threatening to fucking kill you, like, you'd probably slow your roll at least a little bit if you were doing it, if you had, you know, an ulterior motive other than trying to save people.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying that because I think she's kind of cheap.
Yeah, I think she's pretty attractive.
Not that women that are over 50 are never attractive, but I mean, I don't know. She's got some about her. Maybe it's because she's just like a badass. She doesn't take shit from anybody, you know?
Yeah, I think that's attractive too.
And she looks like she'd make you like a nice goulash or something afterwards.
Goulash.
You know?
Right.
Something very, you know, white and wholesome. That's what we all want, right? Yeah,
she's got that like wide Michigan accent, too wide, very wide.
Yeah, she does.
Michiganders.
She's got some wide tits too, you know. Man, I love bringing third grade humor to a serious conversation.
I mean, we already talked about your dumb dick, and
that's kind of what I do. It's basically my act.
So let's talk about. So I don't know if you're familiar with what I've been doing here. So this is my I've done a Facebook Live every day so far in 2020, 2021.
Every day, Christ,
every day.
Felt special. Yeah. I thought you did these like once a month, maybe once a quarter. You're like, hey, Degi will be one of the maybe 3 people who do these. These are special and close to my heart. Turns out you do these once a fucking day.
No. I have the guests on once a week, and
so
I've only had So you're my third guest. But the point of it is like I want to talk to people, other creative people, and try and figure out what's something that you love that you're working on? Are you writing anything now? What's your process?
So for me, man, stuff always comes in waves. When I'm like, the creative juices are flowing, which is usually in the morning right after coffee. I feel like that's when my brain is functioning properly, and most things come to me. And usually when I'm at work or I should be doing something else, I've never been able to just sit down and write. It seems forced. And you know, I love stand-up, but I'm also constantly thinking of like stuff I could do for sketch and because a lot of stuff wouldn't work on stage, and some stuff wouldn't work as a sketch, but it'd work well at stand-up. But anyway, so lately I've been writing a lot, and ideas have actually been coming to me, which is great because I feel like I went through like months with just, I don't know if it was not being motivated because COVID, and it's certainly harder to be motivated to write when you know you can't get on stage, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I've well, it's funny because for whatever reason, I've been like looking up celebrity birthdays recently, especially if it's taking place on like in a very important day. Like today, obviously, is big because a new president is in the White House, thank God. And it happened to be Kellyanne Conway's birthday today, which I thought was really funny.
Oh,
and it's also Buzz Aldrin's birthday. You know who Buzz Aldrin is?
Yeah, the guy from Toy Story.
Yeah,
right?
You're smart. You know who he is. But a lot of people, I was asking people at work, no fucking idea who Buzz was. Wow. But everybody knows who Neil Armstrong is, because he got all of the credit. Yep. And so I want to write a sketch where it's basically an interview with Buzz, and he's basically just talking about how much he fucking hates Neil because he got all the credit. Nobody remembers Buzz. And I think it'd be hilarious if, so you know how the famous line, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Right. What if like Buzz had always said that shit, like was constantly writing it down and stuff in the shuttle and saying it to Neil every day, and Neil's like, that's stupid. Nobody's ever gonna say that. That's dumb. Who do you think you are? And then like at the moment he's walking on the moon, he says it and totally steals it from Buzz. I just think the idea of him getting all the credit is funny. And then that was making me think of like other examples in history of guys who were super important but didn't get nearly as much credit, which I think would be an all right idea for a podcast, but it's also, that's a lot of research, which that require works. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. That's for me, you know?
Yeah, and that's interesting. You came up with that idea, and then what's a technique that I use sometime, and I know that I've other seen people too, is you just with doing comedy, you're always like, what if this, like what if that, right. You're always trying to like take it to some other.
You try to stretch everything, get as much out of it as you can, and so yeah, that it's a lot of times just dumb stuff I post on social media will inspire ideas, or I mean, some stuff can be used for jokes on stage, but if like the one-liner quick type joke isn't really your style, it doesn't really apply necessarily. But
now, what's your, like, are you a visual person? You're audio? Do you like record yourself talking these somehow, or do you write them all down?
I'm a big fan of the notes in the iPhone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's something like notes on an Android. I don't know what it's like to have a poor people phone, so I'm not sure. But I put stuff in the notes, and then I do, like, if it's a longer bit and there's a lot of details or a lot of like tags and whatnot that I don't want to forget, I'll just use the whatever that generic audio recorder app is. Record stuff quickly and then hope that it's funny when I listen to it later.
Let's go back to, you said you do this, you find yourself writing and coming up with stuff in the mornings. And so are you early riser? What's your...
In the mornings for sure, but throughout the day, anytime my blood is flowing and I'm actually active, I find that for me, if I'm physically active, like whether it's exercise or work, because my job is pretty, decently labor intense, and once I got the blood flowing, it certainly helps. But I've got to be up at like 6 to work at like 7, so pretty early. And then caffeine's usually involved. And
when you're doing your job, is this something that you does it require? You said it's labor intensive. Are you able to just, like, sometimes, like, I'll think of stuff when I'm like mowing the lawn, or like I'm like,
it's
I'm doing something.
I understand. You're basically you're asking me, do I need to use my brain? And I don't really.
Okay.
I mean, so essentially what I do is I work on a production floor out at the Evil Empire in the nutrition department, where they make like dietary supplements. It's all basically powder, and then it's used for shakes and whatever else. And we help the techs run the lines. So yeah, a lot of it's, you know, we're mules. I am like in charge of a team of people. I'm in some kind of managerial position. So I have more responsibilities and I kind of have to use my brain. But if you know me, you know I'm not that serious. I can't take myself seriously, nor does anybody else take me seriously. So only so much of my brain has to be used. And
I've always found that like when you're doing something you've done like 100 times, it's easier for you to access that really creative kind of part of your brain.
The lawn, man. I worked at a golf course forever, and I worked for like 11, but I worked at this golf course on the grounds crew for like 5 years, and that was some of the best writing I ever did, man. It was just back and forth on that stupid lawnmower thinking of shit. But yeah, I've always been like that, man. If I have to be like active and doing stuff I mean, occasionally I'll think of something when I'm like about to go to sleep and I'll jump up and put it in the notes, and a lot of stuff when I'm driving, I guess. But for the most part, it's when I'm active doing something. Like I said, I've never been able to. I could like sit down and think of tags or expand some stuff and add things to it, or in a group. I think maybe I'm better if I sit down and it feels forced, but by myself, I've never been disciplined enough to do that, unfortunately. So,
one of the jokes of yours that I absolutely love, and go check out. And what's your YouTube? You have stuff up on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I think my channel is just Adam Degi. I mean, there's no other Adam Degis, and I don't mean that. I just mean there's literally no other. I don't think there's any other Adam Degis.
Yeah,
I'm hungry or something, but
so the one that I love and I saw for the first time at Max Bar was the bit where you sing and you do and so you got to go check that out, and so then pause this, then I come back because I love that bit so much. And so, how did you come up with that? Did you? Let's take that one as like
it's pretty silly, man, and that's kind of one of those things where it's pretty niche. Obviously, it's essentially acapella, so people are either really into it or people aren't. I actually did it. I closed headlining a club in this club in Kansas. It was like right outside of Kansas City. It's probably not in business anymore. But I remember the kid that hosted told me after the show, he's like, yeah, the owner comes up to me. He's like, I don't get it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean,
and I'm like, yeah, a lot of people probably don't, but it's very silly. And I can actually like half-ass sing. Like I have a decent voice. I mean, enough to be a comedian and do stupid stuff on stage. But I've always, man, just like around the house, at work, around friends, just like sang. I've always like made my own lyrics, parodies and stuff, and sang stuff fucking around. And I don't know. I think Zach Martin and I were actually talking about something like homeless people with an a cappella group, and then the idea just came to me to do it on stage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I thought of the first song and then went from there. But I still close with that from time to time because I like to interact with the audience, and I always get super close to people, usually dudes, to make them uncomfortable. And they usually really, really like it. But it's also one of those things where there's been a few times where I've gotten into like the first 30 seconds and I can tell it's not going to go as well as I want to, but it's too late to turn back.
So let's take that. So the bit is like you're creating what you did is, so it's a homeless quartet, barbershop quartet, and then you create these songs, and then you sing it for the audience. And
right. They're the loitering outside a barbershop quartet.
Yeah. So when you came up with that idea, did you try it out at an open mic? Like some people.
The first time I did it was at Max.
Okay. Oh, well, then I saw that. Then that was
I
lost my mind. I'd never seen anything like that.
That
and
was,
I thought that was
You know, you can be ballsy enough to like, which you have to do if you're a working comic. You know, you probably can't do a lot of mics where you're doing all your new stuff at a paid show.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you'll put it in the middle.
Right.
But that's not. You can't just be like, hey, I'll take this 3 to 5 minute chunk of singing a cappella.
Try it out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not so much. I definitely did that for the first time at Max, and then I may have even done it at a mic after that a few times before I did it at an actual show. But it's fun, man. It's one of those. There's so many things that you'll do just for you, where I'm like, listen, if 5 people love this and everybody else hates it, and I really have a lot of fun, I'm gonna do this shit. And it's one of those things that people will remember.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's my act isn't good enough for people to remember. So
but I think, well, you hit on something too, which is that when I saw you do that bit, like you are really into it, and you can tell you're having a great time. And that's part of, I mean, if you can find stuff to do like that, and that's what
absolutely,
that's
man.
what
If
we're
you
all
don't like
doing
it, what's the point, right? And I mean, I do try to constantly add new stuff as much as possible, and I get lazy like anybody else. I could definitely write more, but you do get to the point, man, where you're doing stuff just because it works well, and you're going through the motions. And there's times where I'm literally not even thinking about the words coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I know, like, I'll get a laugh, and a bigger laugh, and the biggest laugh, and think about it later. Like, you were just up there, going through the motions like a robot, which isn't good. That's not why we do it. So
yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned it, because like you get to that kind of that point where, like you said, you don't even know what you're saying really, and like you can become more aware of everything else that's in the room,
right?
Because you're accessing that part of your, like, there's 2 things going on, and you're able to kind of pay attention. It's a weird feeling. But yeah, so you kind of touched on it a little bit, but like everyone that that I know that's any kind of creative person with half a brain, like they are really super critical of themselves too. Like, where do you think that comes from?
I don't know, man. I think, I mean, if you're not critical of yourself, you're probably not great at anything, let alone comedy.
No.
Because if you're not critical, you're probably delusional.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody has a very accurate, sense of how good or bad they are.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
Like, comics either think they're worse than they are or better than they are.
Yeah, we never really.
Self-awareness, I don't think, is
a
strong suit of comedians.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. And you've heard it from 1,000 comics, but no matter how well you're doing, you notice the one person with their arms crossed staring at you.
Yeah.
No matter how many, positive comments you get on something on social media, you only remember the one person who said something stupid.
I know.
So I don't know. We're all pieces of shit. What do you want me to say? Look at this guy.
Hey, is that Slate?
That's him, man.
Cool.
He's pretty wild.
Oh, wow, cutie.
He killed a small child a couple days ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. And the parents looked up at me like, what the fuck? And I said, COVID.
Nice.
What do you want from me?
That's funny. So What? Where can we see you next?
Probably right here, man. Back in the bedroom. You know, I'm actually supposed to headline Ridley's next week.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not going to happen. So
right. I know.
Dude, this has been going on so long. I've had like 1,000 gigs canceled twice.
Yeah. Oh,
which is really sad.
So,
you just get denied.
Alex Platowski just burned us. He's like, "Hey, it's the two sexiest bald comics alive." So I just wanted to drop that. Thank you, Alex.
Platowski's he's being very humble. I would put him at number 2.
Nice.
Later, if you're at number 1, you're a lawyer. You got a real job.
Yeah.
Platowski's probably number 2. I mean, I guess I'll put myself in that 3rd position. But that's only because I can't think of any other bald comics. Wes Ward, he's pretty hot. He's pretty sexy.
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of weight too.
I know, man. Yeah, he was sexy before.
He's lost like a whole. I'm trying to think of a comic.
He lost a whole Zach Burkar.
There you go. Lost the whole Burkar. Yeah, no, he's good for. I'm proud of that guy, man.
I know, that's great.
Dude. I love I love to see comics do positive things. Because usually all you hear is like, "Did you hear so and so got fat as fuck?" And you're like, "Yeah, I saw him."
Yep.
You know. So good for him.
Yeah, so I was supposed to do Ann Arbor with Rob Jenkins last weekend, and like, you know, it only took a pandemic for me to get booked at the fucking place, and then they're closed. I was so pissed. I was happy to be like, you know, asked to do it, but I can't wait to get back there. And then
Roger will have you back though. I headlined there the first weekend they opened back up.
Yeah.
And then like a week later they shut down again, and I'm like,
oh man,
you ruined it.
Yeah. And then I'm supposed to do it's not going to happen either. But I was supposed to feature at Grins next weekend with Dave Landau, and that's not happening. So yeah, the two places that I was trying to get in.
I'm actually really upset. I think I saw you say something about that because I definitely would have. That'd have been one of those weekends I would have came and hung out probably every night, man, if I was in town.
Yeah,
that's what I miss most, man, is the hang.
I know, it's a lot of fun. It's super fun. It's just
just shoot the shit, being idiots, man.
Yep. What's are you playing the bongos? What was that?
I was doing a little finger tapping on the laptop. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, this virtual thing is not for me.
Oh, that's funny. I know the hangs are the best part. Like after the show, like before the show, I get like super nervous and I'm like, don't talk to me, like get away from me. And then afterwards, I'm like, let's hang and let's just, you know, and
100%, man. Even like, you know, driving with some fellow comics. And driving home. Sometimes the drive there and back's the funnest part.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just working at clubs with friends and stuff, and you know, we've done a few road trips together. That's the stuff I miss the most, really.
When we did Marquette, that was probably, I mean, like that was one of the best shows I've ever been a part of. It was so good. Like
that place is great, man. It's any place like that where where it's a mix of like a cool atmosphere. You get a good melting pot of age, at least. I mean, those people were certainly all white, but at least you had young, old, and middle-aged white people. And it's like, you know, it's mostly college students, so they're smarter.
Yep.
And they get stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a fucking long drive, but it's usually worth it.
Yep. That was a blast.
It's a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, well, thanks, man, for coming on, and I know you got.
Thanks for having me, buddy. You look good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Immaculate. Does your wife trim that for you? Well, you do that yourself?
I do that myself. Wow,
you got like some product in it?
No, not yet. It gets very dry though. I have to put some sort of balm on it.
You got to put jizz in it, man.
Yeah. Well.
Actually, I think that
I don't want to put my own. I should probably put someone else
here, but yeah.
Well, so where can we can see you? What's your social media? It's at Adam Degi, isn't it?
At Adam Degi, pretty much across the board, man. Yeah. Twitter and IG, and I got a page on Facebook, and then the
fans only, right? You have a fans only page.
I'm gonna pump out some sketches and some more silly stuff pretty soon here, because I gotta scratch the itch, man. We can't get on stage, and
I know.
God knows when that's gonna happen again, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with this new guy in office. First, he's gonna take our guns. Then he's gonna close churches, and then he's gonna say that all businesses must just go under.
Right.
Now that I'm in charge.
Yeah, we're just gonna close. Everything's gonna be shut down, and the government.
Yeah, dude, that's what they want, man. They want everybody to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how legitimately, how far from what they're actually saying on sources like Newsmax is that, though?
Yeah,
pretty close to what they're actually telling the public.
I mean, Sean Hannity, who's the highest paid news personality right now. Have you ever watched that? Sometimes I just watch
I can't. It's like it's honestly like it's like a sketch. I can't fathom how it's real and how people believe it. And that's on like Fox, dude. This new shit, like this Newsmax shit, is even more biased. So I work with people that mostly live in a rural area that are all on one side of things. And they were the other day, they were talking about how they're like strategizing with their neighbors and talking about like exit strategies and all these almost like doomsday plans, like how they're gonna park their truck or this vehicle at this end of their driveway so people can't get up it when they come to take their guns, and like,
oh my God,
with neighbors about how I'll come to your place and I'll bring all my stuff, or maybe I'll leave it behind and come back and get it later, and all this shit. And it's just full blown irrational fear for no reason. The dude's not even that liberal.
Oh man,
he's closer to Republican. Why? He's not going to be the guy who takes your guns. And they talk about like somebody's going to come kick the door down and take their guns. Do you know what the guys that are like on a SWAT team or in the military love? Guns.
Guns. Yeah.
Those are the guys you think are going to come to your house and take your fucking guns. And also, it's also insane to think that if it did happen, which it won't, that it would happen in the first week of his presidency.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And also there's a lot of people on the list before they get to fucking Dave and Lowell.
Exactly. How much of a narcissist do you think that you're going to be the target? Like you're going to be the first one. Yeah, oh, shit, they're coming to Dave's house.
it's wild, man. It's absolute delusion, and it's wild, but that's where we're at. And I can't wait for Kamala to be president. I will say this.
Yeah.
I think we all know we voted for somebody by default. Right. And holy shit, they're both old, but my God.
Yeah.
Joe, man, he's old as dirt.
Very old. Yeah.
I wouldn't want somebody that age running a Wendy's. You know? It's how is it? I talk about, and I'm sure this has been discussed, you know, before by many people, but like, how is that even? Can you be a pilot that old?
I don't think so. I don't think you can even be a judge at that old.
There's got to be. You should have to go through pretty intense physical and like mental evaluation in order to be the president. It's just.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want him running like a golf outing, you know.
Yeah, you got somebody making decisions for the future who might not even be here next month. I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the thing that's really interesting about him though is like if you think about just all the loss that he's had in his life, like how, you know, he lost his wife, and you know, and then, you know, his family then, and then he lost his son, and and
resilient, nothing else.
Yeah. Well, and he had a speech impediment too. I mean, he has a stutter. I mean, like, so
really?
how? Yeah, like sometimes you'll see him like kind of mess up some words sometimes, and some people think that that's like, you know, old, but I think part of it, he's kind of said part of it is just like he has a stutter.
How bad is it? You're almost 80 years old, speech impediment, and your first speech in office, and people are like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
Thank God, finally someone who sounds competent.
Right.
That's not good.
I know. It's we'll see. I'm hoping for a boring 4 years. I don't know about you.
What I want, dude. I don't, and you know, maybe that says a lot about myself, but I never paid as much of attention. I was never as informed through Obama's presidency or George W.'s. I didn't care as much, I guess, which there's definitely some issues I should care about. You know, I'm white, so I don't have to worry about as much shit. But,
right.
You're right, though. You just don't even want to have to think about it, let alone. And it's also taken so much of my energy and brain power.
I know.
Ranting and even thinking of jokes where I should be applying that to other things. So,
right.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And I already kind of made today is my New Year's resolution to just, let all that shit go and move forward. And I hope that's what everybody else is doing.
I hope so. Yeah. I it's we have a lot to be, to be angry about. There's a lot to be upset about. And, my thinking is like, there's a huge group of people and that are angry with how things are. And I completely get that. But then there's a smaller set of people that put all of their faith into this guy, into Donald Trump. And it ended up not working out. And what's one of the hardest things to be able to do is to admit that you're wrong. It's one of those
probably won't happen, but I
think it's not.
So, it took me a while to finally come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to change anybody's mind, which I knew from the beginning, but I still wasted my time. And, my wife gave me a lot of shit about it, but really, I think we need to just look in the mirror, see how each one of us as individuals can be better. And me personally, I've spent so much time ranting and shit, which other than like helping spread awareness does nothing. And I need to consciously just make more of an effort to like do things in my community that make actual change and put my
absolutely right.
My effort where my mouth is and actually do stuff. I mean, you do enough. You're a fucking lawyer, for Christ's sake. You're already helping these murderers get away with murder, and that's great. Somebody's got to do
that. But yeah, that's a great point. I mean, how at some point we're all angry, and I understand that completely, but you're not going to fix anything with screaming at each other online.
Into the void,
It's not going to help. It's not going to help.
It's not going to, man. But as a comic, we all do it.
I know.
And a lot of times it is an echo chamber, and you really do just want the feedback and the likes and all that. We can be honest with each other. We can admit that.
Yeah.
Having said that, a lot of times it is just anger, and you just want to vent, but yeah, there's certainly more productive things you can do to actually try to make a difference and all that good stuff. So
yeah, and everyone's like, like kind of shitting on unity, and like I don't know if that's a great place to start from day one. Like,
I think the beef is that the people saying it are, hypocrites, because nobody was saying that 4 years ago necessarily, and it was a lot of fuck your feelings, and then suddenly how about this unity? But I mean, anybody that wants unity, I think you have to swallow your pride and agree that we should. Whether or not it happens, definitely not immediately, but hopefully we find common ground. There's got to be more of a gray area, right?
Yeah, I would hope
non-negotiable.
I mean, we all care about our families. We all care about those things. And at some point, how do we work together to make each of our families better? I mean, we all, regardless of race or gender or sexual orientation, we all give a shit about our people, right? So don't we all want our people to succeed? And I don't know how we get wrapped up in just fucking screaming at each other online. It's hard.
It's easy to do, and people are upset, and they're.
I know. I get that everyone's upset, and I'm upset about certain things, but at the same time, like we're talking about certain things, and there's Jeff Bezos, who's the richest dude on the planet.
We certainly focus on a lot of real problems, but then there's other stuff where we pick hills to die on. We don't necessarily need to. And I mean, if there's one thing that we can agree on is that a motherfucker like that needs to be taxed.
Yeah,
doesn't need that much money.
There's no way that anyone needs like that much money. I mean, how can they not pay any taxes?
I can't even wrap my head around. I saw there was a video before you let me go here. There was a. I wish I could think of the guy's name, but what he does is to help people grasp like just crazy numbers. He uses things visually, like he showed with grains of rice how much $1 million is compared to $1 billion. It's like a small mound, a heaping pile, and then showed the difference between $1 billion and how much money Bezos has. And this dude had to go to like Costco and buy like fucking 50 restaurant sized bags of rice to show how much money this dude. I'm talking about
unbelievable.
I'm talking about like if you made $1 million a day, it would take you like this many fucking years to.
That's unbelievable,
wild, man.
Yeah. Think about how much good could be done with just the amount of tax. Like if he knows he's not paying that amount in taxes, what if he just donated the amount that he would pay? Like how much good that would do?
I guess I haven't done a ton of research, but I would hope that he's at least like a philanthropist. He's got.
I would hope so. I mean, you hear a lot about Bill and Melinda Gates.
I mean, it gets to a certain point that it's almost a problem to have that much money. You have to hire a staff of people just to help you figure out how to spend it.
Yeah. That's
what a problem, huh?
Yeah, Jesus. Well, listen, bud, it's been a great hang with you and talking about all this stuff, and I think we've solved all the world's problems in 48 minutes. So,
well, listen, I love you, and
I love you too, buddy.
I don't care what Rob Jenkins says behind your back. I know that you're not secretly a Trump supporter, and that you like black people.
That's funny.
All right, thanks for having me, man.
Man.
You have a good weekend. Tell your wife I said hi, even though I don't think I've ever met.
Yeah, we both have Indian wives. They got to meet.
Indian wives need to meet, man, and do Indian wife stuff.
Yeah, whatever it is Indian people do. I have no idea. She talks a lot. I don't know. Yeah. All right, buddy. Good to see you, man. All right, have a good rest of your night. Take it easy.